for everybody who's going to be watching this, right now we have the distinct pleasure of being joined by Dr. Omar Abdulmalik. Dr. Omar
Yeah.
is a physician assistant, health educator, and research scientist. He's an infectious disease specialist and biologist with Bridgepoint National Harbor Hospital. And most importantly, like everyone on this line, he's a fellow Howard alum. So we're going to go HU. So we're going to start off really quickly, just kind of introductions around the table. You know me, Mohammed. Turn it over, Abby.
Yeah, real quick, we're the Bates International Group, and we are really excited to have you, Dr. Malik, here today. We won't take a lot of time for introductions, but yeah, I'm Ebony Bates out of the Capitol Hill office. I sell real estate.
Marty intro. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Omar, by all means.
Omar Abdulmalik, physician assistant, health educator, and just happy to be here. I'm seeing patients. I'm on my lunch break now, so I can partake. Yeah.
We appreciate that, and we also have our fellow team member, Albert Martin, known to us affectionately as Marty. We're going to, kind of roll into this really, really quickly because I know it's very important. We don't want to take time away from the value of our first responders. Dr. Abdulmalik, can you provide some insight into your background really quickly for us, just so the audience knows who you are?
Sure. So I've been in the healthcare field for about 30 years. The past 20 of which has been as a medically licensed physician assistant. And I currently work as a hospitalist PA. I taught at Howard several years ago, back in from about 2000 to 2004, and I was a clinical coordinator for some research trials, and let's see what else. Did some research myself on HIV and health education. And that's it. Also a workout enthusiast.
Definitely one of the things that did know that Dr. Abdulmalik is, outside of being a friend, he is my former running coach. So he turned me from a hippo into not quite a gazelle, but no longer a hippo. Quick, with now that we're living in it.
Can I see? Let me see. Forgive me with the mask. I am in the hospital, so I don't want to be like our vice president. I go at least try to protect. I don't have COVID as far as I know, but I want to protect others around me and protect myself. So this is a good example.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you doing that. Unlike our president and vice president.
Yeah.
We're living in a time of COVID, like we're living in a time of a pandemic and infectious disease. There are a lot of rumors, misconceptions, fake news about the virus itself. Can you take a minute and just kind of give us some of the background, the origins of the virus, kind of like separate fact from fiction here?
Yeah, so the virus, and let me say this, that, when we're talking about origins of viruses, it has social implications, and a lot of times it's xenophobic, and it can be seen as xenophobic and racially biased. So we know from past history with AIDS, like, oh, it came from a green monkey in Africa. And what are those Africans doing with the green monkey? So this time with the COVID, it was it's suspected that it originated in China, and there is this theory that it was from the Chinese eating uncooked bat meat. Now, as far as I know, there hasn't been any definitive evidence of that. In science, we've got the same. It says it's connotation does not connote causality. So you can't say, well, this person was doing this, therefore it was caused by that. You really don't know, uh, because then there's also sorry. So there's also a theory that it came from one or two people that traveled overseas. You know, when you have a pandemic, it's very difficult to pinpoint it to one specific person or one specific thing. So I always try to proceed with caution. Um, you know, I've got Chinese neighbors actually, and some of the some of the folks in our Asian community have actually come under verbal and physical attack from people who are ignorant, saying, you know, why did you all do this to us? Why did you bring this here? So in terms of, I think your question was, where did it come from? Is that right?
Yeah, just kind of the origins and dispelling some of the myths around the virus. And I definitely appreciate you doing some of the history here to eliminate some of the biases.
Yeah. So it's believed that, as far as we can tell, that it did originate in China. Now you hear a lot of conspiracy theories that it was manufactured, quote unquote, in a lab. There's no way of confirming that or dispelling it. Also, I've heard conspiracies saying that it was created to wipe out the black man, but it's affected non-whites in greater numbers, while statistically it affected us, our communities, in greater numbers. But in terms of numerically, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay. So I don't believe that it was created to wipe out one particular group of people. I don't even know that it was created. And I think we have to be careful with that, because there's a lot of myths, historical myths. Just like, you know, we know that with the Tuskegee experiment, somebody was telling me, you know, they created syphilis to wipe us out. That was not true. The folks had syphilis and they followed their
disease progression,
life cycle of the disease in the people, which is just as insidious. But to go as far as to say that COVID was created to wipe us out, I think it's demonstrably false. In terms of how it's spread, there's still research that's being done on that. We in the medical community understand that it's spread through the aerosolization of our expectorant. So when you cough or sneeze, you know, hence me wearing the mask. It also exists. Some studies have suggested that it exists for varying amounts of time on different substances. So like metal, cardboard. So you've seen some of these demonstrations where the person's wiping stuff down. They bring their groceries in. They put a piece of tape on the counter and they wipe their groceries down on one side of the counter and then put the groceries, after they're cleaned, on the other side of the counter. There's still research that needs to be done on that. So exactly where the virus is, it still needs to be studied. But certainly, as far as for respiratory infection, yes. So in the lungs, in the maxilla, in the nose, the mucosal membranes of the nose and the mouth. Yes, it exists there. Let me say this to give everybody a perspective of a virus, because people have asked me if taking antibiotics will help them fight the COVID. So a virus and a bacteriophage are markedly different things. They're not even similar. So a virus is not even a living organism. It's considered akin to an organism in that it has it has genetic material. So an RNA, so a single strand. Think of your DNA, your kind of stereotypical double helix. It's like a ladder that's twisted around. Viruses tend to have single-stranded. So if you took a ladder and ripped it apart down the steps, so because of that, they're not considered really living organisms as we understand them. They're very, very tiny. Think of the smallest thing that you can see with the naked eye, like maybe a mote of dust on a blackboard or a keyboard. So a viron, a single viron, is millions of times smaller than that. So that's something people need to realize, because you have folks saying, well, this is Pence's excuse for not wearing the mask when he was visiting the hospital. He said, well, I get tested for COVID. I don't have it. I get tested regularly. You can be an asymptomatic carrier. And this is the thing that really makes me angry. We all could have it and not know it. We could be asymptomatic, or what's called low symptomatic, where you think maybe you just have the sniffles or you have a headache. And maybe you were infected by, and not know that you were infected within your window of testing. So that's I may sound like I'm rambling, but that's
No, you actually hit on a lot of the questions. I mean, because we have some questions lined up for you. I mean, we assume that you only have a limited amount of time, so we wanted to line some questions up, and you've beautifully gone through. I mean, the next question that I had for you, in line with what you were saying, is, when it comes to surfaces, we come in contact with a lot of surfaces as realtors. Can you tell us a little bit about how long the virus lives on certain surfaces, especially the ones that aren't really talked about so much, like fabrics and, our clothes, as well as plastics and things like that?
Yeah. So because a virus really needs it, the only way it can replicate is within a host cell. It has to have a medium in which to thrive and replicate. So that's us, or some animals, in our cells. So as far as it living on a particular substance, it doesn't live for very long. So the longest that I've heard is up to 72 hours on something like cardboard. So I see you've got a calendar behind you, you've got some papers and things like that hanging. So if I had COVID and I handed you a paper, it's possible that you could get the COVID on your hands, but then you'd have to inhale it. Somebody said that it goes through your pores. It really, there's no evidence to suggest that it actually seeps through your pores and into the lungs. It's really more so through the respiratory tract. So there's really, you can kind of take preventative measures. Like you'll see people walking around with gloves and they're spraying everything. That can help. It doesn't guarantee that 100% you won't get it. Even in the air, it was suggested that, let's say, you're a realtor. So if you're doing like an open house or something, and somebody comes into the house that you're showing and they sneeze. So it really, the aerosolized form of our expectorant, meaning like what we cough out, the mucus and the saliva, it's really the aerosolized form that poses the greatest risk, because there's droplets in this aerosol. So think of like a spray bottle, like a water bottle, versus like aerosol spray from like a Lysol can. So the aerosolized form stays in the air longer.
Omar, is the 6 feet of distance fully sufficient, especially in a closed environment, like say an open house? That's question one. And also, would it be beneficial in an open house situation to open the windows to increase circulation? Would that be a healthier option?
That's a good question. I don't know. And there's research that suggests that the turbulence that's created as we pass, as we walk by somebody or run by somebody, that actually helps facilitate the passing of the virus. So they were suggesting, like for runners, for example, there was some research out in I believe it was Denmark, some European country, where they suggested that even runners distance themselves past the 6 feet up to 33 feet, I think was suggested. So as far as like an open house would be concerned, maybe opening the windows might help to get the air out. I honestly don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, and I'm reticent about giving definitive information, because even Anthony Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci, he's the head guy. I hope Trump didn't actually fire him, but he's, there's virons or viruses kind of do what they want to do. You guys remember back in the days of HIV, people, when it first came out back in the 80s, people thought you could get it from mosquitoes. It was like, hey, if a mosquito bites somebody with AIDS and then they bite you, couldn't you get AIDS? Because it's like blood to blood. If you touch something that they touched, couldn't you get it? It could seep through your skin or something. So we're still learning about the behavior of this virus. So in terms of being in an enclosed environment, I think I would think, this is just my theory, that the more open air you had, the better. Yeah. So I don't want to. I'm very reticent about, unlike some people. When you say things, when you start talking about injecting disinfectant and things like this, and you have the public's ear, you have to be careful of what you say. And when you're an authority people, and a person in authority, you got to be careful what you say definitively, even suggestively, because people are they're gonna follow. Somebody out there is going to follow it. Yeah. So
Doctor, I'm one of those individuals that, I have a reusable mask. I wear my cycling gloves when I go out. I have my own spray that I've made out of alcohol and water. So, with that, am I doing the right things? Can you reuse protective equipment or gear?
I mean, ideally, no. I want to show you guys something. I left it in my bag. Oh yeah, here. So this is actually the mask that I have on. I call this the polite mask. It'll protect you from, maybe if you sneeze, you're not spraying it all over the place. It's got openings in it, so if the virus is still in the air, it wouldn't necessarily protect it from coming in the sides. This is actually fitted.
To stop you right there, if you sneeze, are you saying that if someone sneezes with a mask on, it can still escape?
Yeah, it can go out. I don't know if you see this. It can go out the side here. Yeah. Now, this has got a double layer. It's really slightly tougher than I don't know, paper towel, like a 2-ply paper towel. So it does provide some protection, but certainly not optimal protection. This, on the other hand, I had to get fitted for this. And Mohammed's known me for a while. So I used to have a full beard, but I cut the beard down because this has got to form a very tight mold with my face. So like this. Now this is a much more resilient mask. On the inside, it has an absorbent paper area. So if somebody sneezes, again, understanding that viruses are they're infinitesimal. I have markedly less likelihood of breathing in somebody's expectorant who's actually positive for the COVID. So in your case, like as a realtor, again, if somebody's coughing all over the place in one of your open houses, the windows are closed, especially if it's a small room, that aerosolized spray, even if they have on this mask and you're wearing this mask, it may not necessarily, it's not going to give you 100% protection. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. So this will give you markedly better protection, but you have to be fitted for it. So I had to go to human resources department, and actually I had this on, and they put a bag, like a hood, over my head, and then spray. It's a saccharin. It's a water-based saccharin spray, like a fake sugar, and then I got to shake my head around and breathe in deeply. If I'm able to taste the saccharin, then it still hasn't formed a good mold. So I got to do even more until I can't taste the saccharin. So this is what you see, I think, when they're showing folks in New York gowning up with everything. This is what they have. They have this. They have this first, and then this over it, and then the goggles, and then like a hairnet, and then a PPE gown. So that gives you. Oh, and then they've got like gloves. Do I have? All right, let me show you this. So I'm gonna open this because I got to go see a patient anyway. So this is a this is your, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is your PPE gown here. You got to put this on. All of that. See, and then that way it's not even on your clothes. And like the clothes that I have on now, I don't take these home because I don't want to bring home anything to my kids, and certainly I don't want to. I change my clothes when I get to the hospital because I don't want to possibly give anything that I may have picked up to the patients. Because I mean, we have to go out about our activities of daily living. We're still shopping the toilet paper. We're still going to work with you guys. So, you know, as far as being able to protect yourself, all we can do is the best we can, which is the cloth, the homemade mask that a lot of people are wearing now. It gives you some protection. It's certainly not optimal, but it's better than nothing.
So do you think social distancing is here to stay, or how do you?
I don't know, to be honest with you, because there is the concept of herd immunity. So the more people get it and survive, the people who are really sick will die. And so the really ill people will die from it, and then folks who are relatively healthy will develop antibodies. So then they're able to go about their regular lives. You guys remember the scare with the swine flu? Then we had avian flu. What else? I think there was hantavirus, Ebola. So, I don't know. It's I think it is presumptive to give a specific date on when you can go back to business as usual. Oh, sorry. So I really don't know. I think the president was talking about May. It's a matter of weeks. Yeah, you know, and people are still getting COVID, and we haven't had. We're I think DC is kind of preparing for the spillover from New York, but you know, I think it would be unwise. It's kind of like darned if you do, darned if you don't, because if you'll never get the herd immunity if everybody's inside, and nobody's getting the virus. But on the same token, you don't want to put people at unnecessary risk. You know. Then on the other hand, people have got to work. You know. So it's a fickle situation that we're in.
It is, and given all the difficulties and everything that you're going through, we know that you're a first responder on the front lines, and we appreciate you sharing so much information with us and taking so much time this afternoon. Like you answered all of our questions and then some, and quite a few questions before we got a chance to ask them. So, you know, on behalf of myself and on behalf of the team, we really extend our most deepest gratitude for you sharing this valuable information.
Yes, thank you. And doctor, before you go, one quick question, and this is just an opinion on your part. Do you think it's safe, you know, if you were selling your home, for example, would you allow folks to come in to view it, or should we be taking our business completely online as far as sellers are concerned?
Yeah, I personally, just for my safety and the safety of others, I wouldn't be comfortable with people coming into my home. I would try to do like virtual tours. Like when my wife and I look at different homes, we do virtual tours, which are very nice. And then now with the, I think Google Earth, you can actually see what the neighborhood looks like. So, you know, I think this is really one good thing that's come out of the COVID situation is that I think it's given us a greater appreciation for the technology that we have at our disposal now. You can do so much online, like we're talking here. Yeah, I personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable with people coming into the house.
Wow, you just gave us a ton of material.
Yeah.
Now we have a lot to talk about as far as the business goes. So thank you for joining us. And, you know, we do a roundtable once a month. So certainly feel free. We'll share that link with you. It's a public link. So please feel free to drop in, because we would really love to have you as part of the conversation. This is hugely valuable in this new wave that we're in. So appreciate you. And I hope you get something to eat today.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're in the month of Ramadan, so I can go the whole day without eating. I want to make this clear. I'm actually a physician assistant, but my doctorate is in health education. So I'm very passionate about educating the public. But just being a PA and then having a background in infectious disease and biology.
Think we lost Dr. Abdul Malik.
It was timely. I think he was wrapping up and
Too bad we lost Dr. Malik, but that was great.
That was awesome.
Oh, fantastic. A lot of great information, a lot of things to share, and a lot of really interesting conversations.
You guys.
Oh, Dr. Malik, you're back. We thought we lost you.
Oh, okay.
Great. No, we were just saying thank you so much. Ramadan Mubarak, and we appreciate you. You're welcome back anytime. We'll make sure we share the information with you so you can drop in on us when we have our roundtable in May.
Okay, great. It's good
All
meeting you. Take care.
Have a good one.
Thanks.
Set up.
All right, is that it?
All right, awesome. That was great. We got a lot of interesting conversations we can have with our clients just based on that one conversation. And it's always wonderful to be able to get fact-based information from a professional, and that's a value. And one of the things that came out that I think is really important is when the professionals say, we don't know yet. However, based on the circumstances, these are the precautions that we recommend until we have solid advice, not telling people to go drink bleach, basically. So that's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, then I think that we could have a million conversations. So the next conversation we should have is about unpacking this and what it means in our world as far as, being realtors and still selling, because, real estate doesn't quit. So let's meet back here and let's start unpacking some of this stuff.
Excellent. Let's do it again.
All right.